What is Onyx and why do I love it so much? Hi friend, I'm David Henry from LearnStageLighting.com, and in this video we're going to talk about my favorite professional grade lighting console, Onyx, and we're going to talk about why I love it so much and why I recommend it so much, especially compared to the other alternatives on the market. Now, if you're new here, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and do subscribe so you don't miss anything from our channel, where we teach you how to get started and create great lighting here on Learn Stage Lighting. We wrapped up our last video, which you can catch right here, on talking about, is a professional grade lighting console even right for you? Because before you decide you're going to go with something like Onyx, and in this case, this video, we're going to talk about Onyx, you need to decide if a professional grade console is right for you. And once you've decided that a professional grade console is indeed right for you, now it's time to go ahead and get rolling with one. And Onyx really is my pick for a lot of people, for people that watch this channel. I find that here on the channel, I have a lot of people who are beginning with or at an intermediate level with lighting. And therefore, while a lot of the folks on this channel may eventually use a standalone lighting console, chances are they're starting on a PC. And that's the first reason why I recommend Onyx, because when I talk to other lighting designers, I try out all the software, and I work with people, hands down, Onyx has the best interface for the PC. They just do. And I don't think anybody can argue with that. If I compare the other big consoles out there, whether I'm looking at Grandime 2 or 3, whether I'm looking at Camsys, Hog, Avolites, etc., all of their PC softwares feel like a compromise compared to the regular console experience. Okay? And truth be told, you know, that's a business model thing, right? Because all of these professional grade consoles, they make their living, they fund their development and pay their people based off of selling professional grade consoles to production companies, venues, etc. Okay? But I really see Onyx as singled out because they, I think, have put more effort than anyone in people who are just starting with lighting. And that's one of the reasons why I connected with them so early. In fact, it was this unit right here, the M Touch, now the NX Touch from Onyx, that really drew me to their system, because for half the price or less than of what other companies had, they offered you this playback wing that stinking rocks. We'll get to that in a minute. But interface. Onyx from the ground up, what I like about it is there's a couple reasons why the PC experience really rocks for it. One is it's literally identical, whether you're on a real console or a PC. The only things that are different are the file manager, if you are going to save a file or bring in some content. The other thing that's different is there's a couple little pop-ups that are different, but that's just due to it being a console versus a PC. But for the most part, like 95% of the console is literally looks the same, acts the same, is the same from PC to console. And I appreciate that. If we look at the other consoles on the market, we see that in order to program effectively on them, you have to have basically a representation of a console or a wing up somewhere on your screen, and often there isn't room for that. Now, do you have to have a second monitor to program this PC? Maybe you tab between them constantly, and that's just plain annoying. With Onyx, you know, the only thing that I really need on a PC that I don't get is the small command keypad, and I can embed that into my regular screen view. So I have it there when I need it, and when I'm not programming, I can hide it away and just focus on playback. So that's reason number one why I love Onyx. Reason number two is, as I mentioned, I think Onyx is really unprecedented in the offerings that they have for people beginning with lighting. Okay, they really have set the bar high. When they first came out with the M Touch, now the NX Touch, and that was back in, gosh, was that in like 2015, 2016, something like that? No, maybe later. I'm not sure. Let's see, does it say on this thing? Nope. But when I first saw this, I purchased one. Why? Because it was literally less than half the price of everybody else's PC wing, and it offered you a DMX output on the side. And I said, wow, I gotta try this thing out. and I love it. I reviewed it initially with a really bad quality video that you can see here, and I've been using the thing ever since. I love this thing. These faders, sure, they're not a real fader. They have, or a typical fader. They're like a trackpad on your laptop with LEDs behind them, and they work well. But it's not just the NX Touch. Sure, they're not quite a real fader, but it's not just the NX Touch that sets Onyx apart to me, okay? They offer those 4 universes of ArtNet or SACN. You can get a 2-universe USB device, the NX DMX, for like $300. Just a little more than that, I think, to get 2 outputs. And even their PC wing, the NX Wing as it's now called, is really reasonably priced. It's like, I think it's like $2,300 US at the time of this recording. And with that, you get a full wing, which is the same thing you get in the console, same stinking hardware, just no PC, no computer inside of it, no console, and 4 DMX outputs, and it unlocks all 128 universes that Onyx has. And ultimately, that kicks butt. So that's why I am such a huge fan of Onyx. Number 3 reason why I'm such a huge fan of Onyx is MIDI control, okay? And so while there are a lot of critics of Onyx who are frustrated with the way that they, shut some back doors in their software a little while back that let Show Cockpit in to do a lot with the software, you can still use MIDI controllers and get amazing control with them. In fact, I just recently reviewed this one, the MIDI Craft, from midicraft.de. And man, I mean, you get an NX Touch, which unlocks OSC. You get Show Cockpit, I think for like €100, you'd unlock the drivers you'd need for this and the NX Touch. It's probably less, I'll put it on the screen. And you now have a PC, you have 15 faders. The 10 on the NX Touch are effectively motorized. You have a programming section, and you can do some really crazy good stuff with it. Not only, I said 15 faders, but really these knobs on, this is the MIDI mix from MIDI Craft, and it's got these 5 knobs at the top. And so literally that's 10 faders, because these knobs are faders. They're not an endless knob. They're at 0 to 100%. And so while there are critics of Onyx who say, they don't let you do a lot with MIDI or OSC, they have tightened it down a little from where it was wide open in the past, I still think it's very capable, and you can do a lot with it. I like to put my MIDI controller, like that MIDI Craft, just on a different bank from my main MIDI controller, and then I'm able to control completely separate faders, have complete control of everything that I would need in a show. Okay, so MIDI control. Number 4 reason why I love Onyx so much is Dylos. Okay, guys? Glossing over the rest of why I like Onyx from a programming perspective, because there's a lot of ways that I really like it. Dylos, the pixel composer, the pixel mapping engine that's inside Onyx, is incredible. If you haven't checked it out, check out my video on how to use Dylos here. Hopefully I haven't run out of YouTube cards yet. But it's really incredible the way that you're able to bring in any video content or use the huge library of content that they provide for free. What? Free? And you're able to play that across your whole lighting rig, which, if you are following along tutorials for Onyx, you've probably already set up in your 2D plan. And so playing media across it, being able to pixel map and do some really cool stuff is totally open to you, totally doable, totally included for free with the software. And it's not a big jump in learning over the rest of the programming of the console. And so those are just 4 reasons. Gosh, I love Onyx a lot. I know I've taught a lot of people it since the MPC days, and I've used it a lot myself. But I just think for folks who are beginning or with a professional lighting console, or just want the most bang for their buck, like I'm thinking churches, venues, anyone who buys things, I just think that Onyx provides the best bang for the buck in the PC/console market. And even their bigger consoles, man, I think they rock. And I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not being paid to advertise for them at all. But I think it's a great platform, and I'm not afraid to point people in that direction. So if you enjoyed this video, I'm sure I'm going to get some negative comments about that below, but if you did, please subscribe. And if you're brand new to lighting, head over to learnstagelighting.com. I've got a free guide for you. It's going to walk you through how to get started with lighting, no matter what type of lighting you do. That's band, church, theater, or DJ. Pick one. We'll send you a guide personalized to your lighting. Awesome. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking more about Onyx this month, and we will see you in our next video. Thanks.